23F, 25M. I had a pregnancy scare and my boyfriend's reaction to it all is weirding me out. A few things happened in the lead up to the pregnancy scare. A condom broke, and I skipped my period, I think due to being sick and stressed, which doesn't often happen to me. Got a pregnancy test, fucked it up as I didn't know how to use it and it came up void. Why do bad things have to happen all at once? Fuck me, was that a stressful week. Apparently, you have to do the test first thing in the morning on a certain day? Anyways, I thought I was pregnant and booked a doctor's appointment, so I was a bit unsure for a week or so if I was or wasn't pregnant. Good news is I wasn't. My doctor went through birth control options with me and sent me to the local sexual health clinic as they have group meetups for learning. And #X200B. I have always been upfront with my boyfriend that I don't want kids, and according to him neither does he. When I told him the news, he was ecstatic and couldn't wait to start our little family. I kept trying to remind him that I didn't want this, but he was too caught up in it all. I sort of left him to it after that and dealt with it myself. I was stressed out as it is. I didn't need to deal with a whole other person on top of it. He clearly knew that I didn't want to be pregnant, and if it actually came down to it, I will terminate the pregnancy. 2 days later he came back to me telling me he has it all sorted out. A coat hanger, you might ask? No. He sorted out living arrangements for us to move in together, back in his childhood room, with his parents on the opposite side of the country. His parents were positively thrilled and his mum has tried to call me multiple times. He had started buying furniture online for us and had them delivered and told me we were going to go over the next weekend to set it up and start moving. This is all so sudden considering at this point I didn't actually know I was pregnant. On top of that, I have met his parents once. I live near my parents and I live in my own apartment, he is in a house share. If I was pregnant and wanting to keep it, he had just picked the weirdest and dumbest idea. I haven't actually told him I'm not pregnant yet. I found out yesterday and I have all of this I want to talk about, which I feel should happen in one go. Holy shit. He sure escalated that fast. I'm sorry, I'm honestly laughing at how absurd the situation is. In what universe does he think he's living? At the very least, you need to sit him down for a serious talk. Try to figure out what is really going through his head. How could his version of the situation be so out of alignment with yours? It's like he had a little miniature manic episode to punctuate the big news. Wow. He obviously wants children. You don't. It's a problem that isn't going to go away. Leaving out that he actually assumed you would move across the country and live with his parents and the never confirmed child, it's a relationship breaker. His reaction was bonkers. How can I, 30 female, get my, 31 male, boyfriends change his nasty hygiene habits? I want to start by saying I love my boyfriend, but I'm at my wit's end. We both live at home in our parents' homes. We are planning on moving out together in May, June, but my red flag radar is going off. We've been together for almost 6 years, but his hygiene has taken a dive. He lives with his cousin and the environment is disgusting. White tub is full of black mildew which neither he or his cousin clean. Bathroom is overall dirty. He's had 3 separate dirty used Tupperwares and containers in his room for at least 6 months that are growing mold. We end up arguing when I bring it up. He doesn't wash his hair regularly or brush his teeth well. I've had to adjust how I cuddle with him because his hair stinks. He keeps extremely large dirty piles of clothes that stink up his room. His sheets stink too. Once he got bodily fluids on the sheets and legit didn't change them for 5 weeks. I want us to work out, but need advice on how to tell him I can't deal with the lack of hygiene. I want to give him an ultimatum because if he doesn't change before May I can't get an apartment with him. He used to be so clean when we met, but doesn't care anymore. Last time I was over I told him I wasn't interested in any intimacy. I didn't tell him why, but when I went to the bathroom, the state of it turned me off. How do I change him? He's not depressed either, so he says. Edit. Almost 24 hours later and I'm shocked by the responses. Thank you to everyone that has given feedback and honest advice. I'm still reading through them all. You don't need to change him, he needs to change himself. Let him realize you find him disgusting. Do not move in with this man. I think you need to tell him in a kind but straight way. You could say, I love you but your lack of good hygiene is now a problem as it's affecting how I feel about you. You can't change him as such, only he can do that. Ew, girl, no. You fix this by getting a better boyfriend. How do I change him? At over 30? You can't. So don't waste your time trying. My 33M wife, 31F, cheated on me, hid it, and now I got her pregnant. Need help. My wife, 31, and I, 33, have been together for 10 years, married for 2 years. Edit. I'm 99.9% sure the child is mine. Wife got her period 4 days after cheating and a second one after that. I know because I had sex with her on her period, it's pretty obvious. After months of confronting my wife after having a suspicion she cheated on me, she finally admitted to it. It turns out that she cheated on me with an ex-boyfriend from high school. My wife reached out to him out of the blue several months prior to cheating. She claims they messaged on a weekly basis with small talk. She eventually decided to meet up with the guy behind my back, for a beer, at his house. According to her, things escalated, they started making out and eventually had sex. She claims she immediately regretted what happened and never intended to cheat, only catch up. The night she cheated she claimed to have been at her friend's house. I was suspicious so I texted her friend's husband who told me she wasn't there. So I had proof she was lying and I confronted her. She said she lied and went for a drive, because she was upset about her dad's health. Anyway, a month goes by and I continue to confront her, and I'm clearly distraught over this. Within this month I also happened to get her pregnant with our first child, which of course now was a terrible idea. Meanwhile she continued to deny ever cheating and is now 3 months pregnant. I continued to confront her about cheating and she finally admitted to it. My wife was not on birth control when she cheated, which makes it even more infuriating, but claims he used a condom. She admitted he finished. She also took an emergency contraceptive the next day to make sure she didn't get pregnant by her ex. I simply don't know how to proceed. We own a house together. I went from being in a happy marriage, to either being a divorced single dad or stuck with a cunt of a wife. Also, as bad as it sounds, would consider an abortion and also leaving her for a completely fresh start. Really appreciate any thoughts. She's lying about the next day contraceptive. Get a paternity test or you'll be legally responsible for another man's child and have that whole thing going on. It will ruin your life and make you bitter. Paternity test, lawyer, and don't sign the birth certificate without confirmed DNA tests. Why were you still sleeping with her after you found out she cheated on you? Or am I lost on the timeline? You're crazy if you don't get a paternity test. She's a proven liar, so how can you be so certain the baby is yours? Why did my GF, 25 female, introduce me, 27 male, as a friend? So I've been dating this girl for 3 years now and everything's been great for the most part. No crazy red flags at all until very recently. We were at the mall and her and what seemed to be an old male friend recognized each other in passing. I say old because I've never met this guy in our 3 years of dating, so he must be from her past. She immediately got flustered and introduced me as her friend. A mistake she's never made before. There was what seemed to be a very long awkward pause as I waited for her to correct herself. She eventually did, but it sounded reluctant. Why do I feel embarrassed and disrespected? Or am I just overthinking this? Your insight is much appreciated. 3 years? Yeah, that wasn't a mistake. She didn't want this guy to know she's got a boyfriend. If it was intentional to avoid conflict, she should have told you after he left. Her not addressing it is pretty suspicious and you need to ask her about it. Yep, you're not her boyfriend, when someone she wants to fuck is present, sorry. Yeah, that's kinda sus. I'd feel some type of way about it. If you're in a real serious relationship, a person will give you a title when they introduce you to other people. She should have given you a label, as her man, her boyfriend, her boo. I don't think our relationship should be going on anymore. You have been dating for 3 years, and she introduced you as a friend? I'm sorry, but maybe just take her up on the offer of friend. Don't buy her shit. Don't take her out. Don't give her sex. Don't even sweet talk her because after all you're just friends.